everyone. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I am Cindy Laniga. If you do not already know me, I am the owner and author at Kingdom Kids Creations, and I'm excited to have you here today. Remember, before I get started, to subscribe below. There are some goodies coming at the end if you stay with us. But today is a special day because my social media coordinator, Jenna, has decided that she wants to do a little bit of a interview the author segment for my channel. We thought it would be a great way for you to get to know me a little bit better and know the heart behind the things that I'm putting out and the books that I'm writing, and just get to know me a little bit better. So without further ado, Jenna.
So I thought we'd start off with just getting to know you, your kids, kind of the inspiration behind Kingdom Kids Creation. What brought this to be? Okay, well, as a single mom of three, now I have three, so I have 8, 12, almost 15 driving. I kind of call them my kingdom kids. My kingdom kids, I kind of always have. They're my kingdom warriors. And so that's kind of where the name came from, is just after my 3 kiddos, and the 3 arrows represent each one of them. And really the idea behind it, it's kind of been an accumulation of different things, and really just kind of putting it all into a business now to really honestly help me support my kids as a single mom. That the name Kingdom Kids Creation kind of came from your kids and your family dynamic, but how do your kids play more of a part in the inspiration behind the activities and the things that are in Kingdom Kids Creation? It's a good question. Well, so historically, I love traditions and family traditions and keeping them going. And so I wanted to continue to do those, but what I found as a single mom with limited time and, 50-50 split custody, time was limited. And so I wanted to be able to figure out a quick and easy way to do that. And so I've been able to kind of apply the things that we already do. And as far as like family devotion time or random DIYs on the weekend, and just the things that I'm already doing with them into some of the products and materials that I've got at Kingdom Kids. So they play a huge part because they kind of help me create it all. So kind of your perspective on your kid's story help bring this to light and been such a part of your work, both teaching it out school as well as then developing it into your own business. So like you said, all of those things play a part. That's all part of the story. And I think what's been so exciting about watching that come about is really, it did all start with my OutSchool classes. For those of you that don't know, OutSchool is a online teaching platform, mainly for homeschool families, really. That's kind of how it started, just as some, supplemental education for kids. And with COVID and all of the shutdowns, it really exploded. And what I love about OutSchool is that you can write your own curriculum. And that's what I did. I don't have my teaching certificate. I'm not a licensed teacher. So I didn't want to teach ABCs and 1, 2, 3s because it's not what my training is in. But I do love children's ministry. I have a heart for kids and families. And so I created this character camp with these silly little critters. And it just took off. It resonated with families, and the kids were just able to get into it and the different activities that we did. And so I think combining my curriculum from OutSchool, knowing that I needed to turn it into something, and then just my experience with children's ministry, being a mom, all the things play a part in really just creating this. More than just a book series. So then on the subject of stories and their influence, how do you go about sharing a story that's not only sensitive to you, it's very personal. Going through a divorce is so personal and so sensitive, but also then trying to share without oversharing or sharing out of turn your kid's story in a way. You don't want to tell their story for them, but you are their mother and they are directly involved in your own story. So how do you go about doing that? How do you go about sharing that ministry? I think the biggest thing on the personal side of things is to really do it fearlessly and know that with each of our stories, God is playing a part in our stories. And through trials and things like that, I really try to remind myself that the story that's being written may not even be for me. My hope is that my story and me coming through such a hard time will help other single moms and other moms to know that they, with Christ's help, can get through it. And just being able to just be raw and real about it. And as far as my kids' stories, like you said, it's not really my story to tell. So as you know, as you guys get to know me and learn more about me and my kids, I think that it'll be more from the mom's perspective. Like I see them hurting, but I have no idea what they're feeling. So different ways that I can help support them in that, being a better listener than advisor, having those set times like the family devotion time, talking about our character, things like that, give way, I feel like, for me to support them during a journey that I really know nothing about. My parents weren't divorced, so I have no idea what that's like. Right. I am not a 15-year-old girl in today's society, thank goodness. So I really don't know, and everyone's different. So I don't know their story specifically, but I do know my kids and can just see how it affects them. And I just try to tell the things that I'm using as a mom that seem to help us as a family.
So you had mentioned, knowing your kids because they are your kids, but not pretending to try and know their story. But what would you say you have learned about your kids and yourself even through this whole process? Not just maybe the divorce and the shared custody, but also in creating a business that runs out of your house where you have your kids every other week, and it's crazy and it's chaotic and it's messy for everybody. So what do you think you've learned about all of you in that process?
I think the biggest thing is how resilient we are and that you can thrive in chaos. Anyone that knows me well knows that I thrive in chaos, which sounds goofy and a lot of people can't handle it. But I think just embracing being okay with what works for you and your family and just really acceptance. I think that's the biggest thing, is that we've really learned just to accept what is and make the best of not the best situation and bloom where we're planted. And we've learned a lot about each other. And I think what's been great to see is watching my kids really rally for each other like I've never seen before. Because if I think about it, they're a constant for each other. Right. Mom and dad come and go, but their siblings know what they're feeling. Those are the only other people that have been through what they've been through. And so it's been a cool thing to kind of watch them grow and bond through that. And they've definitely helped challenge me personally and spiritually on just perseverance and, steadfastness and patience. And they're good examples through this. So I think we've learned a lot about each other. And I think hard times do that. And I think it brings out the best and the worst in people, but it brings out the real. And so we really get to know each other a lot better.
So kind of moving on from your story and your family and going more into the content, now that we know how the content came to be, the content of Kingdom Kids, what was the inspiration behind first your book on the Christmas Angel, which is out and available to the public along with the kits, but then also this character camp series that you're working on now, which is an insane project to undertake. It is, yeah. But where did this inspiration come from? Where did either of those ideas come from?
So the Christmas Angel book is funny because I had no plans to write that. That really came about when I was really trying to figure out how to do Christmas with my kids, because the holidays, I will be honest, they're different. There's no way to not have them be different, regardless of what your two homes look like. It's just different. And so for us, we weren't under the same roof anymore for Christmas, but we had some really solid Christmas traditions that we love to do. One of them was the Christmas fairy that I had growing up, and my sister and I loved it. And I really started thinking about how I wanted to stay connected to my kids while they were at their dad's during the Christmas season and the back and forth, and how to kind of reincorporate that. And I just kind of collaborated with some of the stuff from my character camp on kindness and just the tradition growing up, and realized that it was something that we could do with them away, but it kept us connected through the month. And then it just kind of morphed into a book. And so I wrote it. I think I wrote it in a week and then have it published within a month. And it was funny because I published it post Christmas, but
timing,
it's a thing, but it just, that one just, I feel like was a God thing that was just kind of inspired by me trying to do something new. God created something new out of, what we're trying to do. So that is how that came about. And then the character camp series that is monstrous, but I love it, came directly from my outschool class. It's the 22 critters and different characteristics of people that, I was working on character development with all my students. And I thought, what better way to get it out beyond my classroom than with a book series.
Right.
So
with starting this whole endeavor that you kind of didn't intend to start with the Christmas Angel book, and then deciding, let's go even farther with this, how has this been rewarding both personally and professionally?
Well, personally, it's been really exciting to turn something that I love to do into a business, and realizing that anything's possible. And I think that was what was so funny about that Christmas Angel book, is that it just came to be, and it kind of started the whole ball rolling. I was planning to teach online and, do different supplemental things to be able to, provide for the kids. And I think just personally, it's kind of exciting to turn something that I already love into a profession, which is great. And then you asked me what's most rewarding professionally, and I don't know that I'm a professional. Like, I have these moments where I'm like, okay, I write children's books and I act like a 5-year-old creating the crafts and the object lessons. So I don't really feel like a professional, but I suppose I am a business owner. So
we know that nothing goes without its challenges. And we've kind of already talked about how the process has been very rewarding for you. But then, of course, how has this process been challenging for you? And then what challenges do you foresee kind of cropping up as you work on releasing this insane character camp series?
Right. She knows it's insane because she's helping with it. I think one of the biggest challenges for me personally has just been like the self-doubt, comparison, and really just fear of social media. I took a break from social media for quite some time. And I think coming back into that realm, knowing that's how I'm going to expand my business and get the books out there, it's just a challenge to put myself out there. Professionally, I think the biggest challenge has been just finances, figuring out how to do all of this financially, and the time management of being a single mom every other week, and just trying to figure all of that out. And I think probably in the future, the hope is that it will be a challenge that I will not be able to keep up with the production of all the stuff. But in reality, I think just managing a business, by myself, and really just doing it all by myself.
So then what are your goals with this whole endeavor? Not just individually with, the Christmas Angel book or the character camp series, but as a whole, being a business owner, owning and operating Kingdom Kids Creation, where do you hope that goes?
Well, selfishly, I would like it to become my main income, source of income, so I can support my family. But I think really my hope and my vision is it is a platform and a way for children to really understand how uniquely and beautifully they're made. And that God has a plan and a purpose for each one of us. And as they pick apart their different parts of their character, and as families sit together and recognize different parts of each other's character, they really see God's design and how he's created families and how he's put polar opposites together to be siblings, and different things that make us who we are.
So then, you mentioned that you want this to become your only source of income in more of a selfish way, but that kind of leads me into, as somebody who isn't doing this professionally. I mean, you are, but you're not a career author yet, at least. Yeah. How do you go about publishing a book series or just a book without being this
well-known,
New York Times best-selling author, sold a million copies? But how does one get into this? How do you start up? How do you do this if you don't have the right connection?
That is an excellent question, because I had no clue what to do. My uncle is an author, and I thought, okay, well, if he can do it, so can I. And I thought I need to get in with a big publishing company. And as I researched that, as I said, one of the challenges is finances. That was not an option for me. So I just kind of used the resources that I had and taught myself a lot of things. Like, I created my own artwork for the first book, for the Christmas Angel book. I went on Etsy and found just fabulous artists, and purchased their artwork, and, was able to, use them in my books. And, then I found Book Baby. Book Baby is a great resource. It is it's expensive to publish, but I knew that I wanted one out there in the public. So they distribute it through Barnes and Noble and Amazon and all the big names that I kind of wanted my first one to be in. And so I did that. And now with a 28 book series, the finances are not, it's just impossible to try to do that. So I'm self-publishing. I'm just going to publish it on my website, with the help of my team and a local artist. I found an artist, an illustrator for my book. And I think that's the biggest thing, is utilizing the people that are already in your circle. I think that's what I've noticed, is that you don't have to go far to find help. And it's really a blessing for everybody, to pull out the gifts and skills of the people that are already around you is just a beautiful way to make it happen. So that's kind of what I've done, is use the resources that I have in a lot of creative, different angles.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, in reality, you are still a mom first. And so what do you enjoy doing outside of your work with Kingdom Kids Creation?
I mean, honestly, I just love hanging with my kids. They've got their new puppy, Bo, who is a whole personality. You will see him in future videos, I guarantee it. So I think really hanging out with them, crafting, DIYing, playing games, being outside, just whatever, it doesn't really matter if it's a family game or just watching a Disney movie, just being with them and spending as much time with them as I can.
Which is huge inspiration for the kids you're trying to put together for families anyway.
Absolutely.
So,
yep.
They're also your guinea pigs.
They are my guinea pigs. I warned them that they are my guinea pigs. Yes. When we can be outside, we try to be outside. And I think just gardening, crafting, and then the occasional Netflix binge session.
Occasional.
When my kids are gone, I have binge sessions. It's my therapy.
Hey,
back off.
Cheaper than therapy. So in a joking way, I kind of alluded to the fact that basically you're a mom and you work at Kingdom Kids. It's pretty much all you do. But seriously, how do you balance all of that? Because there is more to it. You're not just a mom or just the owner of a business. You are a mom, and it's huge. So how do you keep all of that stuff going?
You remember how earlier I said I thrive in chaos?
Yeah.
Well, you have to fully embrace that. I have to fully embrace that. And I really have gotten to the point where I just take it one day at a time. Because it's easy to get overwhelmed. And so I take it one day at a time, sometimes 5 minutes at a time, depending on the day. And I think the greatest challenge in figuring out how to do that was going from being a stay-at-home mom that had really unlimited time and resources to do all the fun things that I wanted to do, to a single mom with limited time and only having my kiddos half the time. It really made me focus on what's important and spending the time wisely. So when I have the kids, I'm all in with the kids. That's my focus. And work kind of takes a back burner. Obviously, I work when they're at school. But then when they're gone, those are the times that I really push and do all the adulting and things so that I can compartmentalize my time a little bit better. So I think one day at a time for sure. And then just being okay to leave things for the next week so that I can really be focused on the kids.
So then how do you pull yourself out of ruts and creative kind of, lack of a better term, ruts, these creative writer's blocks? Because, you have your limited time. So you want to get as much done as you can when the kids are at school or when they're at their dad's. But, you get stuck. Then what? Yeah.
So it varies. It depends on the day and how deep the rut is. Sometimes just getting up and doing something else, multitasking. Like I try to take brain breaks every now and again and go do the dishes or do a load of laundry or whatever. Take a walk outside. When you come and take a walk with Bo, that always helps inspire being outside. Sometimes it's a glass of wine or stronger things if need be. Sometimes it's, a nap. Sometimes it's just even looking back on other projects that I've done to try to spark something. But honestly, my greatest rut remover, as I like to call it, is really just time with the Lord. I have found that those times, it seems to go in stages. Like I'll have like a week where nothing's
coming. Nothing's working. I'm just not feeling it. And those seem to be the weeks that I have not spent the time with the Lord, because I do truly believe this is his project and his thing. And so if I'm not tapped into him, I'm not really getting the inspiration from the right place. So that is definitely where I should go first, but I don't always. But that is the best place that I go for inspiration and motivation.
So we've talked a little bit about inspiration, how your two different books, well, the book and then the series itself kind of came to be. But have you ever thought about expanding your audience? Right now you're very focused on primarily children, although they're kits for the whole family, but it's about teaching children something, they're children's books. Have you ever thought about writing like a devotional for moms, or a devotional for single moms, or a devotional for kids, even not even expanding that audience, just kind of taking a turn, or even just writing your story, you know, writing
it will be a dark comedy,
almost an autobiography, with a warped sense of humor, maybe. But have you ever thought about just going beyond that horizon?
Maybe. I mean, to be completely honest with you, I did not see myself doing this. So the sky's the limit, you know. I mean, I think that would be awesome. I would definitely love to continue to write, and create new books and write new things. But I have found that my plan is not my plan. So wherever the Lord leads me, I'll definitely continue to write as long as I can, and as long as that is, you know, where I feel like the Lord is leading me. But I've had a lot of people ask me, usually during moments when I'm birthing 8 cats or blowing up lawnmowers, when I'm going to write my book. It's not written yet, and I don't have the finale quite yet. Once I'm a little bit more established and know that I've arrived,
crazy.
I will always be crazy.
Sorry.
There's fun crazy though. I was talking to a friend about that. There's fun crazy, and then there's crazy. I'm not crazy. I'm fun crazy. She's not convinced.
The way she said that was like, are you convincing them or yourself that you're fun crazy? So then to wrap up, I want to know, what can we expect from Kingdom Kids Creation here in the next year or two?
Well, there's lots of things in the works behind the scenes. I think that really the launch of this character camp book series is huge. That's going to be the thing that's going to really be at the forefront coming. We should have our kind of rough draft proof of the first book for the LA Times Book Festival that we're going to go to in April. Follow us along, because it will be fun.
It will be crazy. Fun crazy.
We're going to take you on our adventures to LA. So Jenna is traveling with me. So that could be fun. So that definitely is coming. And then I think, as we kind of talked about quickly, the family kits that I hope to partner with the books is kind of a subscription service, kind of like the Kiwi kits and the Radish Kid kits and those monthly kits that you can order. My heart is to really provide kits like that for families with nightly, you know, family devotional talking points and object lessons and fun family activities that they can do to really bring to life these lessons and these, you know, these character traits that we want our kids to have. But in reality, there's not a lot of time in the day to do that. And so if we can incorporate it into an already existing habit, like the dinner table for family time, or if you do family devotions or whatever it might be, creating that habit for families, but they don't have to do anything. It just arrives to their door. So
pretty and packaged and ready to go.
Yes. So those are coming hopefully. And then I think we'll expand different products, clothing, accessories, things for the nursery. My hope is to have some stuffed animals for each character, because who doesn't love a stuffed animal?
So many hopes and dreams.
So many hopes and dreams.
Stay tuned.
We'll let you know what's coming in the next year.
So get subscribed, sign up for the newsletter, sign up for the blog, because all of that stuff will be coming. Follow us on social media.
And if you do sign up for my newsletter, you do get an excellent freebie. I didn't bring it. It's super cute. I will post a picture of it right here. These critter cards are free for you and your family if you subscribe to my newsletter on my website. So be sure to click on the link below for kingdomkidscreations.com to get your freebie of these critter cards, to give you an idea of all the critters in the book series, as well as the scripture verse and a little bit on the character that they're going to help the kids learn. Thank you guys for hanging out with us, having coffee talk and all the craziness. And we'll see you soon.
Be sure to follow her on social media too, so that she, aka I, can tell you all about what's coming up next.
Wonderful. Thanks, guys. See you soon.